What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Life of Jen. And today I'm going to be showing you my art from when I was a little kid to my art at my level right now. So we're gonna go through all the things I had drawn before as a kid when I was like 5 years old, 6 years old, all the way until now, which I am now 18. So we're gonna get started now. So the very first picture that I have found from an old drawing that I drew was this little creature here. I don't know exactly what I was thinking for this one, but I drew like some fire on top and some lightning bolts. I think I was trying to draw like a dinosaur, a dragon, I'm not sure. The next drawing I have is actually a line, and I colored this one in. I have a book that actually taught me how to draw all these things. And when I was a kid, I used to draw these a lot. So this is one of the ones that come from that book. And then these birds. These birds come from that book as well. It tells you how to do it step by step. So there's the eagle. On the back, I think this was like the most detailed one I have that also came from the book. It's a little bear, punching the hive. And yeah, so these are all drawings that I'm going to be going through and showing you guys about everything. So this is a walrus with a little fish in his mouth, and then this is a shark. And this one actually has a date on it when I drew it. And this was in 2010. This one I drew, and eventually I drew this, and I wanted to print it out to get it in both colors. So I printed this one out from this exact drawing I have. This is printed out. This is in blue, and this is in red. So original one as the one I drew. I also drew a dragon. As you guys can see, it's a dragon right there. But yeah, so all these drawings are things that I like. So I drew anime. I love watching anime. For those of you that do not know what anime is, it's a Japanese cartoon or a Japanese show. And these are two characters from one of the first animes I've ever watched, which is called Attack on Titan. This guy is Eren, and this is Mikasa. So during my high school, in 11th grade, I took the class of Art 1. And in Art 1, my teacher, Miss Young, she taught me so much art and things that I never really thought I was able to do until she became my teacher. She taught me, these are like little sketches that she made us do. So this is like a hand sketch, but then she made us do it again, but with a little bit more detail. This is a backpack. She was teaching us like perspective, from like putting something in the table and us looking at it and drawing what we see from our perspective. She also taught me how to draw 3D. So in 3D, she made us do a whole bunch of different shapes and put them in 3D into a 3D perspective. Eventually, she told us to do that with letters, our initials. And once we got a lot better, it became this. So this is actually a city in a 3D perspective. So we have the vanishing point right here. And every little corner you guys see in this picture actually connects to that little dot right in the middle. So every line you guys see in here connects to that dot. And that's the whole point that helps make the whole perspective of this drawing look 3D. This was like the rough sketches we used to do for it. And like I said, eventually it became this. So this is like the beginning, and then this is the actual project one. Throughout that high school year, I had to carry a folder. Now this folder we made from a big piece of paper, and eventually she told us, hey, I want you guys to decorate you guys' folders with what you like. So I drew everything that I like. And here we got some Rick and Morty, some Pickle Rick, some Rick with a whole bunch of colors. We got Doctor Who stuff. So this is the TARDIS, the Ood. We got some Fairy Tale. We got Natsu and Happy. We got a PlayStation 4 because I love playing the PlayStation. And then we got some other things right here from Black Bolt. It was another anime that I liked watching. one day my teacher took a picture of us with light on one side of our face and the other side was dark. So with this picture, she took this. As you guys can see, the light was only on this side of the picture and then everything else was blacked out. She took the picture and made us do a self-portrait as a project. So it looks a little bit weird, but like I said, the only thing that's in this drawing is the light. Everything else is blacked out because of how the shadows were. The whole point of this project was to teach us about shadows and how to work around the shadows. Another one is that, as for those of you that don't know, I listen to a lot of K-pop. And within this K-pop, I ended up listening to a group called BTS. When I listened to this group, I instantly my eye got caught by a guy named Jimin in the BTS group. And there's this picture that he took where he was doing, I believe, Spring Day. I'm not trying to get it wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was Spring Day where he was wearing like this poofy sweater. And I got this picture as well in black and white, and I tried drawing him. Now, I'm not the best at drawing people, but you know, this is a picture that was referenced to draw this. And as you can tell, this one used a lot of blending and shadows, and everything was super complicated with this one, and I was having a little bit of trouble, but you know, my teacher helped me out a lot. The next one was a project that we had to do a kaleidoscope. Now this one was with painting. So she told us to draw a whole bunch of different figures in this piece of paper. And within this piece of paper, we would end up choosing which one we want to do as a permanent one for our project, for the kaleidoscope project. So I drew an elephant here that eventually I wanted this elephant to make like a heart with another elephant. So the whole point of the kaleidoscope is that there's mirror images. So there's one facing this way and one facing that way, next to each other. So it repeats doing this whole entire circle. So it's a mirror image. So this one was gonna be creating a heart, but I ended up really liking the seahorse one. So that's the one I did. And here it is. So in order for me to be doing this, I had to sketch out my circle, sketch out my seahorse, and color in the seahorses that were dark. So everything that is dark was colored in, and then the same colors that I used for the dark ones, I used for the lighter ones. I just added a little bit more white to make the tint lighter. So this is the kaleidoscope project. One of the favorite places I dream of going to is Japan. So that is a dream place I want to go visit. So in this picture that I had to draw was with watercolors. Watercolors is paint that you use with water. So you wet your paintbrush and you dip it in the paint and then you start painting. So this is the picture I got as my reference, and this is the picture I drew of the watercolor of Japan in Mount Fuji, with a little of cherry blossoms, one of their buildings, and then the volcano. This other one, I do not have my reference picture for it, but I did have one before. I lost it, but I do have this guy. So this guy isn't with paint, isn't with anything. So this board is actually like chalk. And in order for me to draw this, I actually have to take off the paint in order for me to draw this. And how I did that was with like a little razor. I had to pick at the entire picture to make this. And that's only because, like I said, this is like a chalk. And with the chalk, I just have to pick out the paint to make the right amount of, you know, lines and dots and all that. The eyes and the beak are all with dots. Everything else is like lines. And now in order for me to make it more colorful, it's all based on the shadowing as well. So for like the hair and all that, you have to do thin lines but not close to each other. And then for the face, I have to do thin lines, but really close to each other to make it look more white, to give it that color. Eventually, we did the opposite of the scratch board, and we did this. But this was already this is like paper, but this is what we have to draw with a white color pencil. I drew an owl. Eventually, for our last project of the year, we ended up doing this with oil pastels. Now, oil pastels are like crayons, but they're really soft crayons that color really bright, and you can mix them very easily. So as you can see in this picture, the whole point of this was to put magazine in this picture. So it might not be, visible from far away, but from really, really close, this is a magazine piece, this is a magazine piece, this is a magazine piece, this one's a magazine piece, and this one's a magazine piece. And then everything else is my coloration of how I wanted to connect the magazine piece to what I wanted to draw. Now I'm going to move into the whole entire drawings that I started making from my junior year to now. And during my junior year, I learned that I really like drawing and that I'm really good at it. So I ended up getting a little sketchbook and I started drawing my own drawings. And these are drawings that I wasn't asked to draw, I just came up with them. So eventually I realized that I like doing doodle drawings. So doodle drawings is, a whole bunch of random things just drawn in one picture to get an image. So I have like a ghost, I have a little monster, I have some money, I have, a guy with a band-aid, a crown, a broken heart, I got the word art, a diamond, and the word doodle going all the way down. So this is one of the doodle arts that I did. And eventually I started drawing a little bit more. There's some Pikachu. This one was drawn in 6/4/19, so last year. I drew this one. So this is a cross that I drew with the rose and with the little scroll. And in this scroll is basically the Salmon 91, or in Spanish, Salmo 91, which is something that my grandma taught me as a very young child. And I actually memorized this. It's from the Bible, and I memorized that whole entire verse of this. So I decided to put that into this cross. I drew an eagle. This one was drawn on 6/8/19. I drew Spider-Man's face. I drew this panda with just black ink. And this one was also drawn in 6/14/19. I drew this guy. This one was drawn in 6/20/19. And this one I did get as a reference from an online guy that I like to watch. His name is Vex. He does YouTube as well, and he does a lot of art. So this is one of the drawings that I tried to recreate that he drew. And it's actually pretty close. If I were to find a picture of his and in mine, it's very, very similar. I have this Mickey one that I ended up drawing by myself with no references. Same, doing like the doodle art inside the ears, the head, and everything else, keeping it the same. This one was drawn in 6/26/19. This one is not connected to my notebook because this is just a little sketch that I did of just random things, testing out some markers, and yeah, so I have some gradient markers now that help me do, light to dark, or, mix the colors up a little bit. So this is just a practice thing that I drew. But this is another drawing that I drew. This one was drawn on May 19th, 2020. I drew a Vans shoe with a whole bunch of doodles. I put a YouTube, a YouTube thing because I'm in YouTube now. And if you guys like to see more of this art, please make sure to like, subscribe, share, and comment. And I'll be sure to start customizing maybe some shoes, or showing you an actual drawing piece of me, just drawing on a piece of paper and just filming it. I drew this one for Pokemon. You know, has a little bit of Pokemon. Has Voltorb, Togepi, Bellsprout, Ditto, Dratini, Jigglypuff, Vulpix, and then Piplup. All over there with a little bit of pineapple, some watermelon that's cut in half, some slushies, a skateboard, some cards, a hot dog, some fire, again, the YouTube, and yeah. The one that I did recently is one that I'm pretty proud of because, again, I've told you guys that I am not really good at drawing people. And I can kind of draw anime characters, but for some reason, this character was pretty easy for me to draw. I didn't have any trouble with it. And it's actually Naruto. So this is the last drawing I have up to date. This one I drew actually like 3 days ago. I finished drawing it. And yeah, so this is Naruto with a little bit of doodles. And again, I use those markers that are color changing. So as you can see, I have some colors that are mixed in together, or, you know, there's like gradients or like light to dark. And yeah, so if you guys want to see more of my art, you know, either on a piece of paper or on a canvas or a shoe, the concrete, somewhere, on a shirt, make sure to let me know in the comments below. Make sure to subscribe to my channel, leave a like, share, and comment again. And just share this with anyone, because I do want to start making art. But in order for me to start making art, I want to see that you guys actually want to see that. I'm planning to customize my Converse in the future with some paint and maybe some doodle arts or some of the art that I've done before. So if you guys are wanting to see that, please, you know, share this with people. I want a little bit more subscribers. I'm trying to get to at least 100 soon, maybe before the end of the year. I'm at 53 right now, and I want that to keep escalating. You know, that lets me know that you guys want to continue watching my videos. So if you guys enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, share, and subscribe. And, you know, I'll see you in the next one. Peace.